Do you need to take all of the winter clothes out of your kids' closets and put all the summer clothes in, and you just don't know where to start, or you're overwhelmed with the process? That's what we're talking about today on our podcast. Do you have kids' stuff in every corner of your house? Do you think it's possible to make hundreds of dollars selling your kids' stuff that they're not even using anymore? On this podcast, you're going to learn about the amazing world of consignment and how it can bring value to your family. You might be here because you want to make some money. You might be here because you want to save some money. We're here to help you transition to the next season and the next size. It is Tuesday, May 20th, my Matt Man's birthday. Shout out to Matt Man. Happy birthday, kiddo. He's not even going to see this, but I can't believe he's 17 years old. And that's what so this is what we're going to talk about today. That's what's coming up while we talk and tag with Sunflower Sprouts. But first, let's unbox. All right, here we go. I am running a little late today because I have no accountability, which is fine. Nobody's going to be on the show with me today, but that's because I want to talk to you guys about managing your closets. So if you're just finding us, because this is kind of a popular topic when I do this. So if you're just finding us, my name is Jen Stickle. I am the co-owner of Sunflower Sprouts, which is the largest consignment sale in Western Pennsylvania with 2 locations in Pittsburgh and in Erie. We just wrapped up the spring 2025 season, and I like to unbox toys on YouTube. I was watching, excuse me, the Nate Bargatze comedy special on YouTube this weekend. A little ASR, unboxing ASR. I was watching this on, I think it was Netflix. We had a date night in the house, like it just a stay date night. And I love Nate Bargatze. He's so funny. And so he was talking about COVID. It was the special he recorded during COVID. And he was talking about how his daughter used to like watch kids unbox stuff. And it was kind of like, look what I have. I'm going to open it. You don't have one. No. And I had never felt more seen. It was so funny. And I was dying because like, that's what I do. I open up things and I'm like, no, look what I have. No, I don't. I do it as a service to the moms so that they know when you purchase one of these balls at the brick and mortars, whether it's the Sheetz gas station or the Target toy aisle. And I believe this one was purchased at Walmart. You know what you're getting, and it's a service to you. It really is. Also, the very first one I did, it was like a PT. It was like it really was a service announcement because that bad boy had needed a whole bottle of water and you made snow. It was like wet. It's not something you want to say yes to. Okay, here's the baby. So, but in addition to that, then what I started to do is find things in these balls that were toys. Like this is like a mini-verse world, and I like to teach you guys how to tag these items. So I've opened the baby before. If you've never joined us, I've opened a baby ball before. Oh, so this is the baby. Warning, naked. I like to cover them up. So we get the baby first, and then I'm thinking this is the green one. It's definitely the green one. Let me open up this one. Dang it. I don't know which one I want. I think I want the stroller. Also, there's choking hazards. I'm not really sure. Speaking of, I was going to say, I'm not really sure why it hadn't been recalled. And speaking of recalls, there is, they just recalled some, what are they? Like, La Rose Industry is recalling, Crazy Art. They're these jewelry kits that were sold at Target and they have resin in them. And that's why they're being recalled. Now, I opened a ball with, they call them mini verses. I think this is the changing table that we got. Changing tables we talked about last week, 2 weeks ago. Changing tables will sell at Sunflower Sprouts. Price them to sell because they're heavy and they're bulky and people need to get them out of the truck. I'll build this later. I mean, they need to get them out of my store into their truck. I got the green changing table. I think I do want a stroller. I think that's what I'm holding out for. I've opened a bunch of these and I think I'm holding out for the stroller. Anyways, changing tables will sell. They're one of those things that, like, people like to have them if they all match, but if they don't match, then they want a great deal on it. And most of the time, like, they're just heavy to move around. And now a bunch of people, like, I changed my kids' diapers on any flat surface. I know that that's like a mom of 6 pro mom tip because, new babies don't go on the floor. Not when it's your first. But you can change a diaper anywhere. Changed a diaper in my lap multiple times. Anyways, changing tables aren't useless, but they're not the best first use of our money. So anyways, these recalls, these jewelry kits got recalled, and I've opened a Miniverse ball with resin in it before. I think they're pretty cool. I couldn't believe that they were giving me resin just like that. And then also like giving it to kids, but it is what it is. So I'm wondering, the whole point of this is wondering if the Miniverse balls are going to get recalled, in which case, like, do I go get some? I'm not really sure. I like them. I really like them. They're a fun experience. They're a little craft project, a quick, and short craft project that kind of wets my whistle. But then I don't know what to do with them, and they're expensive. And so, like, I would like a bunch of them if I was like a 12-year-old girl. You know what I mean? It's what I would probably spend my money on. But I can't. I don't know. Alrighty, that's what I have to say about all of that. So I'll let you know if the Miniverses get recalled. We'll see. Not really sure. Not really sure. So I don't know what I did with my notes. Oh, there they are. They got moved. Okay. So here's what we're going to do about what we're going to do today on the podcast. We're going to talk about managing our kids' clothes and transitioning to the next season and the next size. So here at Sunflower Sprouts, we love to help you do that with helping you find affordable clothes for the next season. And obviously the next size. We have a lot of people who like shop up in sizes when they come to shop at Sunflower Sprouts. So for those of you just finding us, or at time of recording, spring 2025 has just wrapped up. So what happens, let's like take a couple steps back, right? First of all, this is a job. I just want you guys to know, like, I want you to know you're seen. I know that sounds really kind of cheesy, but like, it's a lot to do this and it takes some time. And I just want you to know that you're not crazy if you're thinking that. So there are just so many clothes. I don't know about you guys, but the more kids you have too, the worse it is. But sometimes, like, and I have boys. It's crazy. So one of the things that we do is, you want to take inventory early in the season of what you do have. And so sometimes people do this before Sunflower Sprouts. Sometimes people do this. There we go. I think it may be unplugged. I'm not really sure. And then we'll talk about like what you can do in the future. I think that this should be better now. I think my cord fell out of my microphone. We're all hooked up again, so all the lights are on. Anyways, okay. So first of all, if you shopped at Sunflower Sprouts, the first thing you're doing is you're dealing with your haul, right? So you bought a bunch of clothes for the whole season. You spent, a couple $100 on the entire season worth of clothes, and you get it all home. You're taking the hangers off. You're taking the tags off of everything. You're doing the wash. It's awesome. You're so excited about all the money you saved. If you just shop with us, we recommend that you save your hangers. Just grab a box, whether it's a diaper box or an Amazon box, and toss all your hangers in the box and just keep them. So when you're ready to sell with us, you have a starter set. You can keep those in in a closet, kid's closet on the floor. You can keep it up on the top shelf. You can keep it in the garage. You can keep it in the basement. You can keep it with your other kids' clothes that they've outgrown. Just add a box of hangers to it. And then it makes it easy when you decide you want to start selling with Sunflower Sprouts. You have a starter set of hangers. Getting hangers to sell with us is, once you've figured it out, it's not too complicated, but it definitely takes, some work. So, oh, Kathy's telling us she got 80 free hangers at a sale on Saturday. Most people just want to give you their hangers. I bought hangers so cheap at a garage sale the other day. The kids were all there and they were like $1. So you're right. There's a lot of easy places to get hangers. Facebook free marketplace is a great place to get them. People just leave them for you. So, okay. So, if you don't want to sell with us, and we just recommend you recycle your hangers. You really need to recycle them. We shouldn't be throwing them in the dumpster. There are different townships have different programs and recommendations for hangers. So go ahead and find your community's website, find their policy for hangers. You have to go to the community's trash page. But most communities have ways that they want you to get rid of your hangers. Okay. So we don't care which hangers you use at Sunflower Sprouts. We just want to make it easy for you, but we do recommend the wire ones. We think that they are cheaper. We do think that they move around easier on the racks. We do recommend that if you have infant clothes, you just take the hanger up the bottom rather than through the neck. So we recommend wire hangers. There's also this really sneaky trick I'll show you maybe on Instagram later, where you fold the sides in for a smaller outfit, and then it hangs, or a smaller shirt, but it's totally not necessarily. You just take the hanger up the waist. Anyways, so hangers are kind of one of those first things you kind of gotta manage, right? The plastic ones you get from the store, I'm not a huge fan of keeping them because they're just awkward, and there's other ways to bundle things with safety pins and things like that. But if you do want to keep them, that's the only reason that you want to keep them, is if you're going to bundle things with Sunflower Sprouts. But we still recommend that you safety pin the shirt to the pants so that they don't get separated. It's not, and because even if you were to have bought a set on those hangers at a brick and mortar, they're going to come attached to each other because they just don't want anybody to lose pieces. And it's just, you're trying to keep theft down. So anyways, okay. So, hangers, that's a whole thing. Get a box, label it hangers, just keep it with all your other stuff. And then you'll have a starter set, or recycle them. Okay. So then the next thing we're doing is we're washing all of those clothes, and, it's a weird time of the year, right? Because we're having, this morning, oh my gosh, this is a true story. And I didn't even prep this for today's podcast. We were downstairs yesterday cleaning up the mudroom. There were shoes everywhere. Okay. Miss Michelle's coming to vacuum all the floors today. So we were getting the mudroom ready for Miss Michelle. And I found 4 pairs of pants. 4 pairs of sweatpants in the mudroom. And so I had all 3 boys, and I was like, whose pants are these? And Jonah, they're mine. Okay, here's your pants. Second pair of pants. Joan, whose pair of pants are these? Jonah's like, they're mine. I'm like, okay. Third pair of pants. Whose are these? Jonah's like, they're mine. Okay, moral of the story, all 4 pairs of pants were Jonah's. And I was like, dude, why do you have 4 pairs of they're his athletic pants in the mudroom? And he went on to explain to me that he keeps them in his backpack because in the morning when he leaves, it's really cold. And then he takes them off for recess because he gets hot at recess. So he has shorts underneath it. And then he sticks them in his backpack. And then when he gets home, he puts his backpack on a shelf. He empties his backpack. And then the pants just get left in the mudroom. So the moral of the story is that it's a weird time of the year. We still have some athletic pants out. We definitely still have sweatshirts out. I know that I've already put, for Mother's Day, Ellie helped me organize my bedroom, and I feel like a new woman. I like to be in my bedroom now. So I got rid of a bunch of clothes. We got some new organization systems in here. But the other thing, and I did get rid of some of my sweatshirts. But what I did do is I like packed away all my winter stuff and I left sweatshirts out for this time of the year, right? Because we're taking sweatshirts to bonfires and things like that. So I took a sweatshirt when I left the house last night, to so I had a sweatshirt in the evenings, right? Because in the mornings and in the evenings it's still kind of cold. So it's a weird time of the year because we have some things out. So we want to make sure that we leave room for those weird things so that they have a home. Because the whole moral of the story of this entire podcast is giving everything a home so it has somewhere to live rather than somewhere to be shoved or squeezed into, or like I don't know where it goes. I was talking with the 12-year-olds and the 10-year-old yesterday about where clothes belong. And we decided they belong in one of three places. They either belong on your body, in your laundry basket, or in your dresser / closet. And I was like, guys, there's absolutely no reason that your clothes ever need to touch the floor. And they're looking at me like what I'm saying is just like, that's amazing, mom. But I also explained to them that if they take their clothes off and they put them on the floor and they don't just put them right into the laundry basket, they're actually creating double work for themselves. And again, they're looking at me like I have four heads. And they're just like, Mom, what are you saying? This doesn't even make any sense. Like, do you want to do things twice or do you want to do things once? Right. And they're like, well, I don't want to put my clothes in my dirty hamper. So I'm like, fine, do it twice. This is your life, not mine. Anyways, so we were talking about that. And that applies to this whole system, right? It's like, you're going to touch the clothes right now anyways. You might as well prep them for when you're going to touch them the next time. Like, so you don't have to actually do this. There's this really great, I followed this one minimalist blogger, and she used to say, you take a box and you put things in it and you put it in your basement. And in 6 months, if you haven't gone looking for those things or touched them, then you probably know you can throw the entire box out. And this is somewhat a similar concept, but it just seems so simple and I get so nervous and anyways, but we're not going to make you do that if you don't want to. So anyways, okay, the next thing you're going to do, you have all these clothes, summer clothes that are ready to go in your closet. And I really encourage you to carve out a chunk of time, okay? And actually schedule it. Whether it's, going to be, maybe you want to send the kids to the park with a mother's helper. Maybe you want to get a babysitter and get them out of the house. Maybe you want to do it after bedtime. Maybe you want to do it during nap time. Whatever you want to do, plan a chunk of time. I recommend that you don't have the kids around, but again, it depends on your life situation and where you are. Sometimes you have to do this with the kids around. Sometimes you can do it like in the master bedroom and then shut the door and then like, do it in phases if you have to. In spaces where the kids aren't. And just because the kids are going to be taking things out of the bin, they're going to be having conversations with you that are going to slow you down. They're going to make it more emotional for you. And the idea is to be efficient and fast, right? So I recommend not doing this with the children. I also have boys. Okay. And so if you have girls who care very deeply about their clothes, this might be totally different as far as like letting them be part of the process. Right. So it's something to think about. You have to figure out your own situation and your personality, right? Like I have a mom who she totally lets the kids, I have a friend who she lets her kids have a say in everything they wear. I have another friend who picks out all their outfits and they don't get a say. So you kind of have to like look at your temperament. You have to look at your kids' temperament. You have to like figure out what's working for you guys. And then, but don't be afraid to just like be like, at least round one is just mom only, right? You're getting rid of the junk. Okay. So, I will say that one of my pro tips is just to let them wear whatever they want. I don't die on that hill. We used to, when they were in preschool, if they do want to pick out their clothes, we used to at the beginning. I'm not a morning person, and so I didn't want to do the clothes picking out, and I didn't want to have those conversations in the morning because I wasn't awake. I just wasn't ready for the day. So we used to do it earlier in the week, whether it was Sunday night or Sunday after church or Monday, Monday afternoon. We did the whole week through Monday. Whenever time works for you. But we had one of those cubbies, and like each day, Monday, this was your outfit. Tuesday, this was your outfit. Wednesday, this was your outfit. And they could make those decisions. And then it was all done for the week. So that's a little pro tip if they really care. But So my mom tip is if you're not a morning mom, don't feel like you have to pick out the outfits in the morning. They can be done the night before. So all right. So when we're talking about all these clothes that have to come out, right? The other thing is less is more. So the one time we traveled for 2 weeks and we needed 14 days worth of clothes. Most of the time though, you don't really even need that much, right? You need, one or two pairs of jeans, one or two pairs of khakis, especially if they're little kids, especially if they're boys. Um, you just don't need as much as you think you do. So part of what I would, encourage you to do is really take inventory of what do you actually need, what do you have, what got worn. When you're pulling all that winter stuff out, what actually got worn and how much did they actually use? And then take quick note of that, even if it's on your phone. Like, oh, we have way too many t-shirts, so I don't need to buy as many next season. Or we did not have enough pants because they put holes in them and I had to go to the brick and mortar in January and buy more pants. Guys, that was torture. So take notes of what your thoughts are from winter, and what you had. And oh, they had way too many sweatshirts, or they didn't have enough, or we could have used, a couple more dresses, or whatever the situation is. So the idea too is less is more. So now when we're talking about infant clothes, this is a totally different conversation. It's a totally different podcast. It's so overwhelming. 0, 3, 3, 6, 6, 9 months clothes. And that's just its own beast. So, it is same is still true. Less is more when it comes to those things. You're not really going to need, 30 onesies. You're going to do the laundry probably once a day. That's okay. You definitely don't need the teeny tiny outfits, maybe once for church, but they're not really going to be wearing, tons of outfits. My kids wore those zip up onesie outfits all the time. They were way easier and they're going to kick off their pants anyways if they're little. So anyways, less is more. Okay. So let's see, where are we? So let's start with just kind of what's going to happen. So what I would do is get some bins like in this picture right here. And you don't even need the lids for this process. You're going to need them later though. And so you're just going to start pulling things out. So there's a couple ways to do this. I sometimes used to like to do it like I would do a load of laundry and then sort it into the bins. And then I do a load of laundry and sort it into the bins. But if you know that everything in the closet is clean, which is you can when they're littler, that. I have that situation now though. They're 12 and I'm like, have you worn this? Is it gross? Does it need washed? Um, so you're going to make these bins and one of them is going to say things that need to just stay, right? And these don't have to be Rubbermaid bins. They can be diaper boxes. They can be, but I really, really recommend that you find something you can contain them. These can even be laundry baskets. Okay. And so dump out the one that's filled with socks, throw those in the garbage and use those as one of your bins. But grab 4 containers. They don't all have to be the same. They don't have to they just have to be a container so that you don't have like the piles running into each other and you're not confused. And we're going to label them. And then that way you're going to know when you're in this process, it's going to make it way faster. Okay. So the first one is going to be like stuff that needs to stay in the closet. So this is a sweatshirt. It's my favorite sweatshirt. It's my sunflower sprout sweatshirt. I'm going to need that all summer long when I do events or when I'm going places and I want people to know. I'm going to keep that thing in my closet. I'm going to keep my jeans. Those are going to stay in the closet for the summer. So the first bin we're going to label is sis stay. The second bin we're going to label is try on in the fall. So maybe we're going to take, there's a really nice pair of khaki pants that the kids wear to church or funerals or weddings. And you're like, okay, if they don't, I bought these a size up. They're still a little long or the waist is wide. There's a chance they're going to be able to fit in these in the fall. Then we're going to try it on in the fall. So we're going to make a second box that says try it on in the fall. Now, I want to take a note. I want to take a minute real quick and explain. I do this for each child separately. Okay. So like I'm just doing this for one child right now. So this is the stuff that Jonah is going to try on in the fall, or this is the stuff that Tim and Gabe are going to try. So they're twins. It's easier to do them together because they share stuff. So this is the stuff, but these are done by size, right? So if I start to right now combine Tim and Gabe stuff with Jonah's stuff of what we need to try on the fall, Then I'm going to have to sit with this bin and resort it in the fall a second time. We don't want to do that, guys. We're already sorting it right now. So let's just sort it into 2 bins. So in the fall, Jonah, this is the stuff you need to try on. Tim and Gabe, this is the stuff that you need to try on. It's already sorted. I don't have to think about it. Now, I'm dealing with 2 boys very close in age. So that's a game changer for me. If I'm dealing with a boy and a girl, totally different situation, right? I can put, Ellie's stuff and Matt's stuff in the same bin, and I'm going to know that this is Ellie's, because this is Ellie's girl outfit and this is a boy outfit. And so that's what they're going to try on in the fall. But for me, I've got 3 boys all in very similar size clothes. It's super stressful. And so by labeling these bins with names, Jonah trying on the fall, Tim and Gabe trying on in the fall, by doing that right now, I'm saving myself half an hour or an hour in August. Okay. So everything we want them to try on in the fall, we're going to put in their bin. Then there's the bin that is recycle. And this really is the one we could have started with. This is the stuff that they ripped a hole in the pants. The bottoms of the pants are starting to shred and fray. The t-shirt has a stain on it, or it got ripped. Or gosh, one of my kids had this habit of, like, when he was nervous, they would like, and this whole collar was like recycle, straight to the recycle bin. This is also called trash. This does not go to our nonprofits. This is junk. And clothes wear and tear. And we don't have to, this is a dignity issue. So we don't want to give stuff that's gross and teared and has holes to the nonprofits. They're going to throw them out too, because you don't want to wear it. The homeless don't want to wear it. They still have a dignity issue. Okay. Or they still have dignity. It's a dignity issue. Sorry. So there are things we're going to throw out, trash, recycle. We're not going to take them anywhere, but to the recycling bin. We do encourage you to textile recycle. Currently, our only resource is on Pitt's campuses. We are continuing to look into more about textile recycling. We would love your thoughts. You can give them the guy down the street that makes rags. You can give them to your grandpa who makes rags. But please, please, please do not give them to the nonprofits. Okay. So then the next thing we're going to do is make a bin we're going to save for sunflower. So this is the stuff that still has life. Another kid can get a whole season out of this. It's those cute, holiday dresses. It's the really cute button downs. It's the pirate gear that they don't fit into anymore. There's going to be a great selection of t-shirts and pants, athletic pants. Hopefully there's some. Those are going to sell very well at Sunflower Sprouts next fall. Those athletic pants, the Nike and Adidas and Under Armour, all of those are going to sell really well. The sweatshirts. What we're not putting in the Save for Sunflower is our souvenir shirts. So if we got, where'd we go at Christmas? Like I don't know, beach. These are normally more of a problem after the summer when you have like your I went to, Rehoboth Beach t-shirt and your, Orlando, Florida t-shirts. So no souvenir shirts in the Save for Sunflower bin. No uniforms in the sunflower bin. Right now we're getting rid of all of our school uniforms. If you go to North Catholic, there's a bin in the lobby where we like your used uniforms. I do help with used uniforms sale at our private school. We really recommend that you donate your uniforms back to your school and that your schools are having used uniform sales. We have toyed with this for 15 years, and the place that the used uniforms belong is at your school. Now, that being said, blue polos can go in the Save for Sunflower bin. Khaki pants can go in the Save for Sunflower bin. White polos, if they've been bleached and they're clean. 9 times out of 10, though, that white polo is going in the recycling bin. Trust me. We've got rid of a lot of white polos. We recommend that you pick the color of the school. So we wore a lot more of the navy blue when the boys were in that situation. So anyways, the uniforms are going to go into the recycle, or they're going to go to your school. So that's a really good point, Kathy. School nurses need those uniforms as well. So hopefully your used uniform sale is hooking up your school nurse. That's such a great idea. So this can kind of, and then you're going to put, so you're going to just start to sort the clothes into one of these 4 boxes. This might take some time. Put on a movie, listen to a podcast. I know a great one about consignment you can listen to, or, whatever it is, listen to an audiobook on tape or audio book. Yeah, on Audible. And just kind of work through all these clothes and do this for each kid. Okay. So if you're a big family, I really, really recommend that you do this for each kid. And then I also encourage you to give yourself a little reward. Okay. So maybe after you're all done, you're going to treat the kids to Chick-fil-A for dinner, or you're going to go get a Starbucks, or you're going to be able to sit down with your own personal book and read for a little bit. Or you're going to just get a rotisserie chicken from Costco for $5 and that's dinner, right? Like set yourself up for success. So my point is like, don't try to do this and then have a huge barbecue, with a bunch of people come over the same day, because it's a lot, right? And so, give yourself a little bit of grace and mercy when you're done doing this. Reward yourself, make something easy for dinner, order pizza, and just kind of, set yourself up for success so you don't have to do 2 big things in one day. Okay, sorry, my notes are like all over the place. I'm just looking at my notes. This looks really good. I think I got through a lot of it. So anyways, one of the things that we were talking about, so then what we're going to do is, after we've sorted everything, we need to start dealing with these things, these bins. And so, we're going to make sure that we label them. And this is the trick. So you can see on these are my bins, especially with this first one. Yeah. Save for the fall 2025 is what it would say. And then the trick is to put it inside the bin. If you do label the outside of the bin, if it's like the gray one that's like solid and you do label the outside, that's okay. But don't forget to put a note inside the bin, right? Of what it is, so that in case they get separated or pulled off. I mean, it's different if you use like duct tape on the gray bin, but if you're putting like just like a Post-it note on the gray bin, you're going to want to definitely put something inside the bins. Okay. I do have clear ones for my kids. And that's because I can take that piece of paper and I can slide it down the inside and I can see, from a distance what exactly is in that bin. And then these bins stack in the basement. They're not quite done yet, or I could show you a picture live. But anyways, they stack in the basement. And then here's another pro tip. Go into your family calendar, whether it's a paper calendar or Cozy on your phone or Google, whatever. Go into August and make yourself an appointment. And I'm not recommending a Saturday morning. I'm recommending like a Monday when the kids are in school, in early September. Well, no, can't do early September. So it's got to be August. So figure out like in the summer when you have a break. My point is, if you put it on Saturday, you might miss it. So I like to put my reminder appointments on Mondays, and then I can move them around when I get to August. Put yourself, make a note in August to try on those clothes. Okay. Because that's when you're going to be tagging for sunflower sprouts. So you're going to take out these 2 bins, save for sunflower, and then try on in the fall. And you're going to pull these back out and you're going to say, okay, you know what? They didn't grow at all. And so these are totally going to be worth it. But if they didn't grow in the summer, you need to make notes. They're likely to grow in the fall. So you want to shop both sizes. You want to shop up. Because it's a shorter length between our spring sale and our fall sale, right? So there's a better chance that in the fall, when you're shopping, you want to buy the next size because it's a longer gap to the next sale. Okay. And so maybe they did a huge growth spurt in the summer and none of that fits. And you're going to move everything into Save for Sunflower. Now, the other thing is they might have just they're like, you know what? I don't like that t-shirt anymore. I don't like Pokemon. It's just, they totally went out of style and I'm not doing it. Or that princess is not cool anymore. And I want to move that t-shirt to the Save for Sunflower. And then the Save for Sunflower, you're going to start to hang and tag because you're going to have registered. So the trick right now is, and we're going to talk more about the next steps in a minute, but the trick right now is to go into August and make an appointment in your personal calendar that says, go find the bin of stuff we need to try on in the fall and try it on. Okay. And then, And then what you're going to do after that is, so we get all this sorted, we get it all situated, we made our appointment, we're going to put it all away in the basement or a storage unit or the garage, wherever you're going to store all this stuff. And then you're all set to go, right? And then so the other thing you can do is toss a dryer sheet in one of these into these bins. That's a little pro tip too. But you don't have to do that. Okay, so then what you're going to do is this summer when registration opens up, you're going to find your bin safe for sunflower. You're going to start to hang those clothes. You're going to, you can start to enter tags after you register. That's going to be in July. Oh, no. Yeah. Okay. Hang tight. Just keep watching. We are almost ready to set that date. We're in the middle of those conversations right now, but, just as a little tease here, if for Pittsburgh, if you've made it this far into my podcast, it's going to be probably in the end of June. And that's because I don't want to open up registration the week of 4th of July. So, but Erie is probably going to open the week after 4th of July. So there's a little top secret information for those of you who have made it this far in the podcast. Thanks for listening to me and hanging out with me. I appreciate it. I love the company. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to register for sunflower sprouts. We're going to start to hang the stuff that's in the safe for sunflower bin. We're going to try this stuff on in probably August when we're doing our back to school shopping. We're trying to figure out what do we need. But we're also going to be making a list then. So we're going to try this stuff on. We're going to pull out what we've got. We're going to start to make a list. I need some shirts. I need some pants for school. I need, we want to start to find a couple, whatever it is, dresses, sweatshirts, they need a new winter coat or new hats and gloves or whatever. We're going to make a list of the things that we need. And then we're going to tag and get rid of the stuff we don't. And the stuff that we're going to keep, we're keeping, right? Because that's all fall stuff. So we're just going to double check that we still want to keep all that. And then we're going to go shopping at Sunflower in September and early October. Okay. And so the trick is to then, we've made a list now with the stuff that we've tried on. We know what we have, right? Because we've pulled this stuff out in August. We're not quite transitioning the closet yet because it's still hot in August, but we need to be able to make a shopping list of what we need because sunflower's coming around. So we're just going to try on the bin. Some of it is either going to keep or some of it we're going to just take to sunflower. But our keep pile for winter currently in August is still kind of small, right? So we can either keep those in that bin for a couple more weeks, or we can start to integrate those into the closet, the winter stuff into the closet with the summer stuff, right? Because guess what we're also doing? We're starting to make these bins in August. We're already pulling the trash. After you do this a couple times, you're already pulling the trash out of the closet. You're already pulling stuff out that we're not going to need this anymore. We're going to start to pull out our tank tops, maybe, for example, because we need those like in July. But we might not need those, in August, depending on, what the weather is doing. So we can start to then, we're going to take this try on for the fall and it's become our try on for the spring bin. And we're just going to empty it into keep and save for sunflower. And then it's empty. And now we're going to start to add to it of things that, I really want to try this swimsuit next summer. I want to try the swimsuit to see if it still fits. And then we're going to say, this is Jonah's try on in, let's see, let me figure this out. We're going to try it all on, and registration normally opens in January. So we have a little bit long, it feels longer, so we might not try these on until like maybe early March. Because then if it doesn't fit in early March, we're going to sell it at Sunflower. Or if it's not going to fit all summer, we're going to sell it in April at Sunflower and buy a new swimsuit in April at Sunflower. So it's forward thinking. And then we're creating this system. We're creating this cycle. We have these bins. We're good to go. We're just going to keep working it every single season. And so you can see where we put the to-do list as far as the shopping list goes. In theory, right now, we should have already made a shopping list, right, before we went shopping at Sunflower Sprouts. But my point is you might not, because if you're just finding me right now, you just need to make a shopping list with what do you still need for summer. It might be an extra swimsuit. It might be a couple extra pair of shorts or another pair of sandals. So when you're in this process, don't hesitate to make lists. And I would recommend you do this on your phone because then you don't have to lose it or find, you know what I mean? Like, then where did I put my list? Just make a note on your phone and then you'll know what you need and that kind of stuff. So, but this is a lot. And so I just really want you guys to encourage you to give yourself the permission to take time, give yourself credit for the time that it takes and the energy that it takes. Treat yourself to a little reward when you're all done. Definitely label everything. Make sure that the trash and the recycling just gets out of your house as soon as possible. And that you set yourself up for success for the fall. And then you won't have to touch, you'll already have collected all of your kids' clothes because you have to turn over your closet anyways. So then you will have already made your bin for sunflower. You'll already know it needs tried on. And you're going to be all set and way less overwhelmed in the fall. So that is it, guys. That's the tricky, can be very simple. We just have to make sure that we do it. You know what I mean? So anyways, I wonder where my outro is. I'm kind of a hot mess today, which is fine because it's May and everybody is a hot mess in Maycember. Last night we had a band concert and a senior award banquet ceremony thing. And it wasn't a banquet. It was like just like a whole ceremony. And it was a lot. I had to miss one of them and I got to be at the other one. So I just want to let you guys know May's crazy. It's okay if you haven't done this yet. It's okay if it doesn't happen until June. It's okay. It's all right. Okay. It's a lot. We have a lot going on right now. There's a lot to enjoy. But what today can you appreciate, and what can you just kind of, what opportunities are before you today? And just do one thing at a time. I will say I am in the middle of 4 projects right now. It wasn't the best idea. I was sharing all over social media yesterday that I didn't want to clean. Like I needed, because I'm in the middle of all these cleaning projects, sorting projects. I just wanted to get some help with the comforters and all the blankets. So I sent those out to be done. It was great. It was awesome. So anyways, one thing at a time right now, mamas, you got this. And my dads, I got a couple dads too that are knee deep in everything. So, all right, who's ready for fall 2025? Let's start to prep our clothes. Let's get our stuff ready and set. So we don't have to worry about it later. Pittsburgh is September 11th through the 14th. Erie is October 4th through the 5th. Consignor registration is going to open for both events in a few weeks. That's crazy. If you want to shop at our event and get incredible deals on shopping, head over to our website, get on our mailing list, and stay up to date on all things Sunflower Sprouts. If you're ready to get rid of the kid stuff that's taking up space in your house and that is pouring out of their closets because it's the wrong season, get a box, get a bin, or dump out a laundry basket and just start collecting all the stuff that is winter that they don't need anymore. And then register to sell with Sunflower Sprouts this summer to sell with us this fall. Hope you guys have a great day. You're going to make it through May.